I would have no luck in Denver. I'll tell you what, I could go to Austin and be married in 1 week. Episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back.
I am in jeans.
Rayna.
The third time ever.
This is a cry for help. Look, Azul's even coming over to help you.
I love these jeans. They're stretchy.
So can we talk about the decision?
Yeah. What, you don't like them?
I love your whole vibe.
I look great today.
But you can't just come out in jeans when... a couple months ago you were like, you must be a serial killer to wear jeans to record a podcast. So let's talk about it.
These are my stretchy jeans. I just got them at Everlane. I love them. But we were recording an ad for Vibes Only in the house because we've all these new products, and I just wanted to look like kind of cute. So I'm wearing my Target Amore shirt and my new Everlane jeans, and we're both in Birkenstocks. We moved to California and became Birkenstock people.
So these, if you're watching on YouTube, also we have another angle today. Hi to the second angle. These are Birkenstock collab with Stussy. How do you spell it? Oh no. How do you say it? Sparkle Ice is going to be so mad. I should have checked the pronunciation. You know that brand, Rayna? That's like a 90s like PacSun style brand. Stussy.
Like
Stussy.
Sticky Pussy.
Can you look up Stussy versus Stussy Tessa? Anyway, he loves that brand. This was a gift. This is a Christmas gift. One of my 3 gifts. And I'm obsessed with these. And
I love them.
They're an open toe, but fur lined.
The only wear them in California.
And didn't you say one of our friends was like, this is the only place where you could be out here toes out with fur.
Fur sandals.
But I'm like so obsessed with these. Aren't they so fun?
I've been having fur sandals
and this full white outfit with a black dog.
It's
I'm living on the edge. Oh, I know. He's been so sweet lately.
He's always so sweet.
I think we've been really bonding on the weekends. Like we do like a long hike every weekend. He did miss me, but I'm really trying to give him his best life, and I feel like it's really paying off. He's been like really cuddly. You know, he's not much of a cuddler.
He's been really cuddly with me too.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, he knows you need help because you're wearing jeans. He knows.
I love these jeans. I'm very
It's not about that. I'm not insulting the jeans.
Excited about the jeans.
It's just like I want to make sure you're okay. Honestly.
Well, I did it because we were filming some stuff. I love my outfit today. I look amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, should I wear red every day forever?
You don't need to be defensive.
I hate when you defend yourself and somebody's like, stop being defensive. Yeah, I'm defending myself. I think about you saying that all the time.
That's my line.
Defensive.
I hate that. People will attack you and then say, you sound defensive. Yeah, well, I'm defending myself. You came at me. I'm playing defense.
Crazy.
I hate it.
I hate something about me, and I dare to stick up for me.
Like when people, are trying to like cancel someone or trying to take someone down or just attacking them, and then they apologize, which, granted, apologies are in order, but then it's like, that sounded defensive. Well, I don't know. You tried to ruin my life. What did you expect? I hate you sound defensive. It's like, well, I am defending myself. There's nothing wrong with playing defense sometimes.
There's some things I hear in your voice specifically, and that's the one. Yeah, I'm defending myself. You attacked me. Okay. Azul is like cuddle. Like a hard cuddle? This is a hard cuddle. He is hard
He's
leaned.
not like that with everybody right now. It's really, you're so lucky.
Is he like this with Sparkle?
It's really a blessing. They do have a really cute bond.
But
he lays on his side of the bed. When Sparkle Eyes is in the bed, Azul lays over there.
So he does to me. He only sits in my seat on this couch.
He wants a dad. He wants a 2-parent household. So when you're around,
I'm the dad.
Yeah, you're Azul's daddy.
Okay, we're gonna thank some partners. We have a new partner today. Thanks to Natural Vitality Calm for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Let's face it, everyone can use a little more calm in their life. Calm is a magnesium supplement that helps you unwind and calm your mind. Use code GGE20 for 20% off your purchase at naturalvitality.com. And thanks to Article for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Their curated assortment of mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandi, and boho designs makes furniture shopping simple. Article is offering you $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Go to article.com/GGE.
And this episode is sponsored by Quince. Give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. QUINCE.com/GGE. Okay, so we are headed to Miami this week.
Oh, yeah.
First trip of the year.
Uh-huh.
which I haven't packed a suitcase in a minute.
I don't even remember how to do it.
Do you remember how to pack?
How do the airports work? This is the longest we've ever not traveled. And we're recording this a little ahead of time. It's like 3 weeks we haven't traveled.
Yeah. I came back to LA. Well, you too. I mean, we got back right after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, and a full month. I'm not sure. I'm like, oh my God, we're such jet setters. I don't think that we have been in LA a full month since we moved here. Maybe the very first month.
Because you forced me to be. I was like, what are we going to do for the whole month? And you, I don't know, Rayna, like enjoy living in LA.
No, the last year, 2023, you were like, let's do shows in January. And I was like, Rayna, no, we're moving to a new place. Like, we are giving it one full month. So we haven't had a full month here since last year in January.
Anywhere.
It's been great. It's been like relaxing, and we kind of were having a little bit of a freak out. Like, oh my God, our lives are just slower. They're not as exciting. Meh. And then it just got really nice, and we leaned in and been making a lot of plans and doing hikes.
I've been making plans. I have an update for you. You waited me out, and I like plans.
You have it on your plan game.
If you guys are like newer to the show, I always thought that I like really planned a lot. Ashley plans and I just show up. That is our vibe always. I don't know. She can plan for me. You know, you have like a couple friends. You like trust their plans. Ashley's that friend. She'll just be like, here's the itinerary. And I'm like, sounds good, fam. And also, if it doesn't sound good to me, I didn't volunteer to help. So what are you going to do about it?
Right. You can't be mad.
You know? So I have never been the planner in the relationship. It's always you. You're just like, here's the itinerary. But LA, you make a plan or you're not going anywhere. And I've started to feel like towards the end of the year, like I have not left the house in a week. Like if you just don't make plans, you just don't do anything here. So I've been really enjoying plans. We're going to go see Mean Girls. We just have all these plans. I'm excited.
Last weekend, as we were recording, which was probably 2 weeks ago at this point, but it was Friday. We were like, oh my God, we don't have any plans. And then I randomly saw that Chris DiStefano was going to be here at the Wiltern. So we went and saw him. And then Brittany Schmidt, who was our guest a few weeks ago, filmed her special. So we had like a full comedy weekend. Andrew Santino did a guest spot on Chris's show. So we hung out with Chrissy and Andrew, and we're trying to get him on the podcast because he is just the fucking funniest.
Yeah. We have not spent this much solo time together socializing in a long time. We don't do a lot of social time.
We do here. Rayna, welcome to our lives. We've been saying that since we moved to LA. We hang out all the time.
Solo.
We have the receipts we've said on this podcast. Oh, solo?
Solo.
I mean, but we're always doing stuff. It's not just me and you don't go to dinner. That would be great.
You asked me if I wanted to go to dinner or Brittany's show, and I was like, really?
That is the funniest thing. Rayna and I have never been like, hey girl, you want to go out to dinner?
You asked me if I want to go to dinner on Sunday for Brittany's show, and I was like, this is weird.
It was a little weird. It was a little weird. But
I said yes. I was like, she won't fall through this.
Well, then we end up going to the early show, whatever. It's like not important, but we eat a ton of meals together, and like we'll go eat here and there, but it's very weird. Like I would never be like, I should make a dinner reservation for me and Rayna. Like we see each other all the time.
Do you think it would make our relationship stronger if we did solo hangs at bars? No. Why is everybody laughing at me?
That is so funny. We're like best friends, life partners. You're like, should we go to bars? Hear me out. Hear me out. We go to happy hour.
Ever heard of it? We just don't. We're not just like, hey, you know, what'd be fun is a solo hang.
Yeah,
because I guess our whole lives
is a hang.
Solo.
It's a hang. No, you're right. We went did the comedy shows together, and it's always a little awkward. I feel weird when I'm alone with you. I'm kidding. Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm like, what if we don't have anything to talk about?
Are you being serious? I was kidding. You were serious. You were serious, Rayna.
I was like, what's it gonna
be? Do you feel awkward around? Is this for real?
I don't. You know, sometimes you just say yes to stuff. You don't even know what you're agreeing to.
Okay.
We saw this comedian say this thing the other day. He was like, you know, just sometimes lie about stuff up here. Like, sometimes people say stuff and I just say yes.
But anyway, I want to back up because we are going to Miami, and we were getting ready for Miami because we got our faces injected.
I thought you were going to say we have a show this weekend.
We do have a show. Let's talk about our faces, then we'll talk about the show. We went to Barrett Beverly Hills.
You know what's so funny about that visit was that, Dr. Barrett did my boobs, my third boob job. And I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
I'm never not there getting laser work done, having them look at my boobies. They did an amazing job, but I forgot you hadn't met him.
I met him one time briefly in the hallway, and I was like, oh my God, because I'm like a stan because I follow him on Instagram. He's an incredible follow. He's a ton of followers.
Oh yeah, he's huge.
He's like a celebrity surgeon, and I love his whole vibe. I love his knowledge and how he's really someone that wants to make you look like natural, and he doesn't want to just inject you so you look like crazy. And I just love everything he stands for, and I love his videos and his TikToks and his reels and stuff. So I was like, oh my God, Dr. Barrett. And then he did all of our procedures the other day. So it was really like being in the best hands possible. And just always want to say that is like so important. Mm-hmm. Like just do what it takes to go to someone that is reputable. You know, you don't need to be a double board certified surgeon. Like there's amazing injectors everywhere, but like a really reputable practice is just so important. Cause I'm like, you were getting needles to the face. Things can go wrong. It's super rare, but it never happens with the people that really know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so I got my Daxify and I did my lip flip, which is something that I have been getting that I really love. And that is just, I get Daxify now, but if you do Botox, whatever, and they just put a little bit of that on the top of your lip and it kind of makes your top lip look a little fuller and not have like a gummy smile. I've been getting that and really liking it, and did a little filler, and so did you, and we just had a great experience. And it's like it's actually, that's when we really bond one-on-one.
That is, yes, we film each other.
We don't go to dinner, but we go get needles to the face together.
Well, I took laughing gas this time.
You did?
I don't know if they do this for everybody. I have no idea.
You can request it. They are a practice that does Pronox, and so you can always request the laughing gas. Yeah.
Ashley's the doctor. And it's just so it's really funny. So I always get chin filler because it just elongates my face, and I like the way it looks. But you always bruise from it. Like I always get like a little, it almost looks like there's like dirt on your chin. It has nothing to do with Dr. Barrett every time I've ever gotten it
it's
in my life. It's very common to have little bruises from filler.
It's a personal thing. I've gotten jaw and I've never bruised from filler.
No, but I bring this up. So I always bruise from filler. But it was so funny because like in New York, I used to try to cover it up, and in LA, I just don't. Like I went to Erewhon with like a big bruised chin because I'm just like, everybody in LA knows what that is. Like there's just little pinprick bruises all over your chin, and everybody's like filler. Like men probably know what it is in LA.
That's so funny. I went straight to lunch with Brittany after, and you do look a little beat up, you know, like even just, I don't like bruise like Rayna, but you know, I have little, like you said, needle pricks, a little blood, like a little, not a blood gushing, let's be real. But you know, if you get Botox or filler, you look a little fucked up very briefly. Like by the time I go to bed that night, I look totally fine, but I go straight out into the world. I don't even think twice about it.
I went straight from getting Botox and filler, which you know, like freaks me out so bad. And I went straight to get laser. I was like, fuck my whole face up and then fuck my
laser hair removal.
Up. Yes.
Yeah, Rayna's on this journey too, you guys.
I went straight and I was just like, let's knock it all out in one day.
So 2 weeks ago, we talked about how a friend said she didn't want to get laser hair removal on her pussy because she doesn't want to see it when she gets older.
Yeah.
So, as in, like, she doesn't want all the hair to be gone. She just want to see her, like
a sphinx.
Wrinkled
like a
sphinx cat pussy. I started thinking, like, after we recorded that, I was like, oh, but it would be like gray, which is worse.
Gray
bush,
okay.
Or which is fine. We just love gray hair, you know, but we think it's a privilege.
My body hair is blonde. It's one step away.
But then I got a lot of DMs from listeners who work with the elderly, who work in, you know, nursing homes, or just are there nurses, or they work in hospice, which is just like such an honorable profession. And they were like, no, you lose that hair. You're going to see it no matter what. They were like, you don't have a full bush at 80, ladies.
That's why?
You lose it.
You just lose because you're not using it.
You don't use it. You lose. So thank you to the girlies who messaged me and told me about elderly pussies.
I didn't know.
Now we know. So don't let that hold you back, because you're not going to have that full bush anyway. Rayna, I'm trying to spread the word.
You know I can't grow a full bush anyways.
It's always been your problem.
I'm insecure about it because I want to have like 1970s bush.
No, you don't.
And I can't grow it. And like, I want like a little volume. There's no volume. Bush. Yes. I have no bush volume. There's no purpose in me having any bush because it's not fun. It's not fun looking.
Well, I don't know if I said this before, but I threw in my legs last time, so I'm getting my legs done. If I can never shave again, the hobbies I'm going to pick up with that time, I'll have the amount of time I'm going to get back.
I can't relate because your legs are 3 times as long as mine are.
Yeah, it takes me an hour. Can you imagine? Never shaving again.
Didn't you tell me though that you don't shave your thighs?
I don't shave my thighs.
That's insane.
There's not a lot of hair up there. Like they're not. First of all, it's like sometimes I like a little like glisten.
There's a break below your knees where the hair grows extra.
So this has come up. I've seen this in meme culture of like, why don't some girls do this? Because did our moms tell us not to?
I think our moms told us. My
like,
mom did.
Yeah, like your mom may have told you don't shave above your knees. I just don't really need to. They're not hairy up there.
So fascinating.
So yeah, I'm only getting laser on my lower legs. That's a thing. It's on the menu. Lower legs. $85 a session.
I get really bumpy if I don't shave my upper legs.
I never started and
That's crazy.
I'm not finishing.
I forget that you don't shave your thighs.
So sometimes when the light catches, I'll be like, oh, that's a patch of hair. But I don't care. It's like pretty and blonde.
Like, but you don't have the problem that I do. It's like it gets bumpy.
Yeah, there's never been like a stubble situation on my thighs.
Good for you.
And then there's no hair on like the backs of my thighs. Just cellulite.
Well, I have all of it.
Also, last thing, if you guys are coming to the Miami show, if you're coming to Eats Con with the Infatuation, coming to see us on February 4th, which was Dewey's Gotcha Day, RIP, send us any stories or tea that you have. If you have a roast of the friends you're coming with, if you have tea on your partner that you're coming with, or you just have like a crazy, funny Miami dating story, whatever you have for Miami, if you're going to be in the audience, share. If we read your story, you'll get a gift. I think we can say that. We have a lot of stuff to give away. We have some custom shirts just for Miami we're going to be giving away. And of course, there are still some tickets left. And so it's just a $30 festival pass and you get entry in and then you get to come to our show. So we're really excited. So we will see you in Miami this weekend.
So on our show, if you guys are coming, is Sunday at 4:30 p.m. So we'll see you guys there. We probably only have one other show besides this until September. So come.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Okay. Well, speaking of vacations, tropical destinations, fruity drinks, we have a new partner we're going to talk about, and we're going to have some fruity drinks, non-alcoholic, on air today.
Yes, Natural Vitality Calm. We are really excited to partner with them, and it really is just such a great way to just relax and unwind.
So I've been seeing a lot on like TikTok and Reels, these nighttime relaxation mocktails.
I know.
And I'm like, wait, I want that. Like, what a way to spend your evening. Just crafting a delicious mocktail that's going to also help you like relax and unwind and really just like end the day on such a good note.
Yes, and we're going to tell you guys a little bit about it. So we've teamed up with Natural Vitality Calm, and you can get 20% off your purchase at naturalvitality.com when you use the code GGE20.
So they have created some mocktails for us.
I can't stop drinking those.
We really love all the names. They did the Tired of Faking It Fizz, the Doom Scrolling Daiquiri, the Got the Ick Elixir, Resolution on the Rocks, Stuck in My Old Routine, Sick of Going to the Gym and Tonic, Sunday Scaries and Berries. These are so fun. But we actually went with one that we love the recipe and the flavor profile the most, and this is the Rent is Way Too Highball.
Which we relate to living in New York City and Los Angeles. We were like, how much money can we spend on rent?
Everything is too high ball these days.
So
it's good. That stresses you out.
They sent us these ingredients. I can't stop drinking it. I feel like I'm going to get too calm.
Yes, it is 1 ounce of the Calm Unflavored Diluted, which we're going to show you guys. 1 ounce of fresh pineapple juice, 1/4 ounce of lime, 4 ounces of grapefruit soda, and then you garnish it with a half grapefruit wheel and a pineapple frond. So this is your Calm powder. This is the unflavored drink mix. And when you dilute it and you put some water in it, it makes this really great fizzy sounds. And we're just such big fans.
Yeah. And if you are not feeling thirsty, they also have magnesium capsule and gummy options. We tried those as well. They're delicious. Go to naturalvitality.com and use code GGE20 for 20% off of your purchase.
Okay. So something I wanted to ask you about.
I like conversations to start with this.
Do you ever see like a friend or a family member on Instagram or wherever, TikTok, trolling, like sometimes positively, but that you didn't expect it? It is like catching someone with their pants down.
I feel like I'm the person that does that. Like I'm the person in the page 6 like in the comments, like talking shit on people. Like I worry that other people are going to see it. But I do it sometimes because I'm like, Ashley will see this at some point and it will like make her laugh.
Yes, I did used to catch you usually trolling about Tristan Thompson.
That's how I saw my friend
on all the gossip sites, all the gossip accounts. But I saw my brother. My brother is a new father. He runs a company. He is a busy man. No one's busier than Matt. Matt supports his family. He is so busy all the time. Has time to be trolling about January 6th rioters.
No.
I saw this
on January 6th. He took the day? No.
He observed the day. No, there was some interview with some woman. She was one of the like infamous January 6th insurrectionists who like was banging through a window.
Insurrectionists?
Yeah.
Who was them as a community.
That's the thing. Who is like going to jail, which as all these people should be.
Yeah.
And they were doing an interview with her, and I didn't watch the whole interview. She wasn't really giving too much remorse, you know, and they're showing clips of her like unhinged on January 6th outside the Capitol.
If you're scaling those walls, you don't have a lot of remorse. You know what you're doing. It's
Rayna,
not like, oops, I didn't mean to be there.
I disagree. Those people did not think they were going to go to jail. I really think those people felt empowered to do what they did. I don't think
empowered, but I'm saying remorseful is different. Like nobody's like, I didn't know what I was. It was an accident. You guys don't get it.
Who knows what those freaks thought? But my brother, like. The story, I mean, listen, I didn't watch the whole interview, but it wasn't giving like redemption story. You know what I mean? Like she obviously is still probably like super MAGA. And so I'm like, I got to get in this comment section. Top of the comment, Matt Hasseltine, have fun in prison, goon.
You found out your brother is trolling people online.
He was like, ha ha ha, have fun in prison, you goon.
Goon. This makes me, I love him so much. This makes me like him even more.
He does not like get down like that, but I was like, I love what he stands for.
So petty. I know. I love his stance on things.
And your thing used to really be heavy on Tristan Thompson. Like I would always see you and whatever E-News page 6 saying just
and then sometimes I'll write like if I feel like they're really picking on somebody that doesn't deserve it, I'll just write who cares.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll like random stuff on the internet hoping you'll see it. just to make you laugh. Like I'll just be scrolling through like the feed and I'll just like something random. I'm like, Ashley will maybe see that I'm involved in this.
Yeah, and I don't support like troll behavior. Like I find it like really disgusting. Like don't get it twisted. But like January 6th rioters tried to take down our Capitol building, our democracy. Like sorry, have fun in prison, goon.
Goon. Have you ever heard him say that before? Or is this new to you? Goon. You think he was like, got him?
I just think it's so funny that people have a secret life.
Did you mention this to him? Did you say like, hey, goon? I
haven't mentioned this to him yet.
I think you should like casually drop goon in a conversation a couple of times and just see if he picks up on it. Like Ashley found out about my secret internet life.
Yeah. Like it really feels like you just like walked in on somebody doing something, you know, when you like see it.
I love it.
So anyway, I think if it's like all in good fun or it really is saying something like that, I think it can be really funny. Obviously I don't condone like trolling behavior, but
yeah,
I like when you see people's secret life.
I love it.
It'd be funny if you were dating somebody and like you didn't know and then you saw their secret troll life.
I don't know what I would do. It would give me the ick so bad.
Like those things, like that is a fear. And when you newly are dating somebody, like they have a weird internet life.
I mean, you know that like I see guys that I've dated that have been like comedians and I'll see them post a clip I don't like and I'm out on them. So like this kind of stuff, like they put it on the internet knowing people are going to see that.
Yeah.
Knowing that I was going to see that.
Like I once dated a guy and things were going great and we were getting to know each other and really liking each other. And then I saw his Twitter and I was like, I wish I never saw this. What are you doing? I don't. Who's this for? Like it will really like turn you off.
Fuck yeah. I mean, like that's a normal person. Comedians, I can't know if it's worse or better, but if I see you like you've dedicated your life to the craft and you post a clip and I'm like, did you forget to tell a joke?
Yeah.
It gives me the ick so bad.
Right. Where's the joke? It is crazy to remember the days where you saw people's likes. That is insane. Like that was a crazy time.
I know.
Like you could see people's what they were liking like in your feed. who they were following. Remember the whole news feed was just like meant to catch your boyfriend doing shady shit. Like it was designed to catch someone shady doing shady shit. Like why else did that exist? That was crazy.
I feel like they really removed a tool that really helped people catch you. Why'd they do that?
I think because people were like, I will take you down, Mark.
Okay,
you ended my marriage, Mark.
Maybe that's why. But like, I miss that. Do you have the thing I have it turned off so I can't see other people's. Do you have the thing that says like the last time you were active?
Oh, like in the DMs? No,
Yes.
I had that turned off so long ago.
Me too.
And
So
it's so funny because people will be like, Ashley, I can't respond to your story. I'm like, yeah,
It's not an accident.
You know, when we first started to get like a following, people would my whole inbox would be strangers being like, ha 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 ha. And
Yeah,
I'm like, no, you can't like just respond.
Yeah, I turned that off.
Someone will like send me my story and be like, I couldn't respond to your story. I'm like, that's just the point.
Yeah, I did it on purpose. We love you guys, but we did it on purpose.
Even my now boyfriend couldn't respond to my story when he first DM'd me. It's no shade.
I heard from this guy. Ashley, you're gonna die. I have an update.
What?
Okay, I heard from this guy yesterday.
What?
December 30th, 2022.
Okay.
This guy was trolling Jeremy, like my best friend Jeremy, your friend Jeremy. And it was funny. It made me laugh. And so and he was like 6'4". So he was hot. So I slid into his DMs.
Rayna, I swear to God, if someone's ever trolling me and you're like, I could fuck him. I'll be so mad at you. Like, where's your loyalty?
I was sitting next to Jeremy when I did this.
Okay.
So he knows I did this.
Okay.
I think he told Jeremy, like, I'll Venmo you 0.2 cents to shut the fuck up. Something like that.
It was like in good fun.
Yes, it was in good fun. So I said the 2-cent Venmo was very funny. We're laughing about it. So he and I like DM'd a little bit.
I remember this. It's all coming back to me.
And
it's all coming back to me now.
He basically like asked me to hang out. If you want to grab lunch.
What, today? Recently?
December 2022.
Oh, back then.
If you want to grab lunch or something, would love to show you some gems in LA. And so I said, that's great. I'm down. He said, I'm on it. My Sunday's open. What do you like in LA? Yeah. So we moved to LA in January. This is the very end of December of 2022.
Okay.
So I'm telling this guy, I'm moving to Venice. He asked me, what's your plan next Sunday?
Okay.
I tell him the day I'm moving. And he said, great, we'll chat soon. And I said, great, let's. And then he gives me the high five. And then I never hear from him again.
Okay. Typical.
Until yesterday.
They always come back.
Hey, hope your first year in LA was a blast.
Stop it. Hope you had a good year. That's insane, Rayna, because
we had plans inside January of 2023. I thought we were going to hang out Sunday the first week of January.
Hope you've had a good year. Do you hear me? Like someone touches base on a Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. He touches base a year later. Hope you've had a good year.
Hope you had a good year. He said, have a good weekend and we'll chat soon. I said, yes,
a year later.
December 30th, 2022 and yesterday.
Yeah, this is insane.
Yesterday. Hey, I hope your first year in LA was a blast. Just following up here at Casual 12 months later to see if you want to grab a bite.
I'm obsessed with this.
And I said, you just wanted to see if I'd survive the first year. And I'll let you guys know what happens.
That's his requirement to date someone. They have to make it 1 year.
Yes, he's hot, Ashley.
Oh, I remember this. It's all coming back to me. Yeah. He is just, what is it called? He's circling the
drain.
The wagons.
That's not what that means.
What does circle the wagons
That
mean?
means like if Sparkle Eyes and you broke up, I would like send a group text to everybody and be like, it's time to circle the wagons.
Oh, just
to like
get everybody
engulf
together?
you in love.
Oh, okay.
That's what like circle the wagons means.
Oh, I thought it meant when a guy just contacts every girl he's ever had interaction with to see who can bite. But I like circling the drain.
Okay,
He hasn't gone down the drain yet.
Yes, he's just circling
like a stubborn
the drain.
hair.
Yes. Ew. Okay, actually, I had a debate with somebody about this. Speaking of like terms that are misused, so I sent Melanie this text. I was making fun of Taylor Swift not laughing at Joe Coy's joke. We were just talking about that.
Which I am glad she didn't laugh because his monologue was terrible.
Yes.
And after the Barbie joke, the Taylor Swift joke was whatever. I think if it had been a different host, she would have laughed.
Yes.
If he had told those jokes and I was her, I would have sat there stone cold to make a statement. But anyway.
Obviously, we're talking about the Oscars. So,
Yes, Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes? It's the same thing.
No.
The Oscars and the Golden Globes?
The Golden Globes are similar to the Oscars. They're just like more fun, and
They're not the same thing.
the Academy Awards and the Oscars are the same.
Oh, okay. So I knew like two things was the same thing. Did you? That's not what I was debating.
Okay.
So anyways, I was just like, it doesn't surprise me that Taylor Swift like isn't like playing into this. She just doesn't seem like somebody that would, whatever. So Melanie, she called me back and she said, "You're barking up the wrong tree here."
That is so funny. She called you like, Rayna, you're barking up the wrong tree with this.
And she said, and I do like a check with myself. I'm like, barking up the wrong tree to me, and I want you to explain this to me. Like, it means like you have entered the wrong neighborhood here.
Yeah,
like,
do not fuck with me.
Don't fuck with me on this.
Yeah.
And and I can't wait to finish
Why
this
is this so funny?
She's like, "You're barking up the wrong tree." And I hear her say that. I'm like, I bet you she couldn't identify more than 3 Taylor Swift songs. She does not care.
Well,
she doesn't care.
Also, you're barking up the wrong tree is like a threat.
That's what I said. And I said, you did not use this in the right context. You called me and you said you're barking up the wrong tree, which is what my parents used to say to me right before I got hit. And she said that's not what that means, and don't bring your childhood trauma into this.
What does she think it means?
She said it just means like, I don't know, like a dog in this fight. Like,
that's the term.
And I was like,
she's getting her dog phrases confused.
her dog. They went back and forth with her about this for a long time. She was like, it just means like, I don't know anything about this. I don't care about this.
No.
Like, she doesn't know anything about Taylor Swift. She has no thoughts or feelings. Like, she knows she's a person, and I'm sure she's listened to several. She doesn't care.
Did you guys ever once think to Google this?
No. I specifically said it's a threat.
Yeah.
It has a negative, like, aggressive connotation. Yeah. It doesn't mean like, I don't care.
I mean, to her point, I guess there's a world in which it's like, you're telling this to the wrong person. You know what I mean? At its baseline, it does mean that, but that you're barking up the wrong tree is supposed to be said in a threatening manner. It's not like you're talking to the wrong person. But what is she trying to say?
She just meant I have no dog in this fight.
Yeah.
She just meant like I have no thoughts or feelings about it. I said like, doesn't surprise me Taylor Swift can't take a joke. I think she just meant I couldn't tell you yes or no. I don't care.
Got it. Yeah, I get that. Because there's some people, you know, every once in a while, you'll tell something to a friend or your boyfriend or whoever, and they're like, I'm the wrong audience. I'm the wrong audience. Yeah.
When she said, don't bring
Can I see? Wrong audience. Good answer.
When she said, don't bring your childhood trauma.
I'm so dead.
So I really was like, does everybody know that this is a threat, or am I wrong? So I think I'm right. And everybody knows. I love that you Googled this and there's just a bunch of pictures of tree cartoons.
It's to be pursuing a mistaken or misguided line of thought or course of action.
She sent me that and I was like, that's wrong.
Yeah, his wife thinks he's under suspicion, but I'm sure she's barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, I mean, I do think of it as more of a threat, but I guess it can mean you're looking in the wrong direction.
She literally sent me that definition. And like the last time I probably said that, because I don't really work that phrase into my life that often.
Yeah.
My dad's last wife was like talking shit on my fiance to me, and she just kept doing it and laughing, and I was like, you're barking up the wrong tree on this one.
Yeah, and I think it can mean just misguided, but I think she just meant to say like wrong audience.
Yes.
I also, listen, and I just want to circle back. Like,
you want to circle the drain?
I want to circle the drain on this is people were asking me what I thought of Joe Coy's monologue, and this is like so dated at this point, but I thought it was bad. I thought he completely bombed, you know, and then he started to blame his writers and his lack of preparation or timing and all that kind of stuff. But the Barbie joke was just trash. And so I do think if like Ricky Gervais or even Jim Gaffigan would have made that joke to Taylor Swift, she probably would have laughed.
Also, If you write a joke about me, I'd like it to be funny. Like what he said about her. This is so many weeks, but it was a joke about the NFL. Like I would be like, that's all you got?
I didn't mind the joke. I think it was like at that point, everyone was so out on him, understandably so. Really, it was the Barbie thing that just did it for me. So I like that she just like sipped her wine and was like, shut the fuck up. But I really didn't hate that joke as much. I kind of thought it was like a little bit of a dig at the NFL, and I didn't think it was like that bad. But I like that she made a statement by being like, shut the fuck up.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a joke about her, really.
Notoriously, I don't think she's so great at taking a joke.
Yeah.
There's some other instances, not going to get into it. I'm not trying to get attacked by the Swifties because we do like Taylor Swift, but there's some times when I'm like, she could have, I would have let that roll off my back. Being the most famous person in the world. And who knows what she had been dealing with that day.
Yeah.
You know?
That week, that month, that year.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm glad that we unpacked You're Barking Up the Wrong Tree.
Yeah. And we have one quick Vibes announcement.
Yes.
Vibes Only is our other company if you're new around here.
Yes, it's a premium line of sex toys and a Bluetooth connected app. So our best selling toy, the Rayna, which is a double-sided vibrator with a air pulse suction, is back in stock in a brand new color. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it's this gorgeous magenta color. So we have done it in like a frosty light pink, which I liked, and then we did Barbie pink. This is my favorite color that we've ever done. It's like a really classy, high-end, beautiful color. So magenta pink, that is on sale now for you guys, and you will get all the pleasure from the little sucker on the end, and you can bend it, stick it inside of yourself, both ends vibrate, and you're just going to love it. People go crazy for it. And of course, we have announced our whole Valentine's Day collection.
Yes. So we have the Charlie. This is our curve shape. This inserts and has stimulation on both ends, and you can wear it during sex or use it solo, hands-free, and then our cock ring, which we talked about last week, and we are super excited about, and then the vanilla frosting suck and blow gel, of course, and the new strong finish cleanup, cum towel, everything you need for an incredible Valentine's Day with a partner or solo, and just a great year, quite honestly. Don't celebrate Valentine's Day if you don't want to. Just go off and get off.
Yeah. So we have tons of bundles on the site too if you guys want to bundle and save, and that is all at vibesonly.com, and we can't wait to see what you guys think of it.
Okay, so before we get into our topic, I am just going to tell you guys about Quince. We are obsessed with this brand. If you enjoy a little luxury, but you don't want to pay super high prices, Quince is the way to go. They are our go-to for luxury essentials at affordable prices. So we have talked about how they have incredible cashmere, washable silk, 14 karat gold jewelry, and all their prices are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They partner directly with top factories to cut out the cost of the middleman and pass the savings on to you. So I do kind of want to explain like what's the catch here. There really isn't. They work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, which is super important. Premium, eco-friendly fabrics and finishes. So you can get on their site right now and you can see their winter reset, which is going to be some of your cold weather essentials. Super chic. There's this 100% leather motorcycle jacket for $149.90. Ooh, these Australian shearling clog slippers. I see this 100% merino wool shirt jacket, this shacket that is incredible. Puffers, bomber jacket. Again, the sweaters are a must. And then, you know, if you live somewhere like us where it actually is not winter weather right now, the washable silk I'm so obsessed with. I have a slip dress that I just wear all the time. I sometimes throw like a denim jacket over it and just wear that with like a pair of sneakers. You can of course dress it up, and they have great footwear as well. I can't recommend it enough. This makes me want to go live in a cold weather climate. Like looking at all their like puffers and vests and again like sweaters and just everything so cozy and so nice and so quality. We are so obsessed with them. I have people ask me about Quince all the time.
I know, me too.
First of all, don't offend me by saying, do you really like this partner? Yes. If they're on the show, we really like this partner. So I can't recommend it enough. And you can give it yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/GGE for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Yes. And, you know, I always love talking about interior design. It's probably the most DMs I get is like, can we see a house tour? And I'm just obsessed with picking pieces. And I bought this couch about a year ago and it's just really uncomfortable. Everybody hates sitting on it. So I was like, where can I get something that's like really cute and will fit my aesthetic? So I just bought a couch on Article that I'm obsessed with. And they have a whole curative assortment of different styles. So they have mid-century modern, coastal, industrial, Scandi, boho. I'm sort of like an industrial boho gal. And their team of designers are all about finding the perfect balance of style, style, quality, and price. So I actually can't believe the price of this. I got the Pinny, Pinni, ivory wool boucle sofa. It is just so beautiful.
Oh my gosh, you are a boucle.
I am a boucle ass bitch. I always say that. And they show you on their website how to style things. If you're just not sure how to like put a room together, they'll help you. Their Instagram is great as well, but just go to their site and you'll see everything curated together. And I just love the quality. I love the selection. I love all the different styles. They offer fast, affordable shipping in the US and Canada, and they won't leave you waiting around, so you can pick a delivery time, which is really, really helpful. And their customer care team is always there when you need them to make sure the experience is smooth and stress-free. So I love the website. I love the ordering experience. Really, everything they have is so stylish and will fit beautifully in your home. And there's tons to choose from in terms of styles and colors. And Article is offering you $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/GGE, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/GGE for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
I wanted to show you this. I got this giant
I love that
mirror to put over my couch. This is Meron, MERON natural wall mirror. This is like 4 feet.
It's beautiful.
Circular. Maybe they're going to put it above my couch or even above my bed. I haven't decided yet. I'm so excited about it. I got like some new patio stuff. I've just like went all the way off.
Girl.
Okay, so our topic today, we are so excited to talk about best and worst cities to date in. And this is something that Rayna and I truly feel like we are experts in. We have traveled the country, the world really, but we've, especially in the US, and just really made it our business to find out what dating is like in these cities, when we're on tour, when we go on dates ourselves, like when we talk to our friends. Like I feel like I have a really deep understanding of what it's like to date in a lot of the larger cities in America.
I mean, when you think about the last like 6 years of the podcast, I've dated people, Denver, Charleston, I've dated Los Angeles, New York, obviously, Chicago, Dallas. Like I've really fucked around the country a lot.
Yeah, but even the information that we've gotten from our listeners and our audience, like every time we would go to a city, we would ask what the dating scene was like. We would talk to people at length. You know, we're like going to brunch with a bunch of our girlfriends that live in that city, a lot of whom may have the exact same or similar experience. And so we have such a grasp on this on top of reading the books and reading the articles and gathering the statistics. And so I just want to say that like I really feel so excited to do this topic justice, and something that we have breadcrumbed here and there but haven't really deep dove on.
Yeah. I mean, you really like glazed over it a little bit, but every city that we've performed in, really like all over Ohio and Texas and Florida, like everywhere we ask you guys what it's like to date, we compile a whole list of like, what is the dating scene like here, and we can give you like a real profile of all of them.
Yeah.
We're not going to do all of them, even though that'd be fun. Maybe in a coffee table book someday. We've talked about it, but I feel like I really have like a profile of what people are like in every city.
Yeah. And I want to just give a disclaimer that like, this is just, it's not meant to be discouraging. You can find someone anywhere. All you need is one. I remember early on when I was dating and, you know, trying to find somebody, maybe when I was like in my 20s, a guy friend said that, like, all you need is one. That's not some like hot take, but it really, you know, unless you want to be in some polyamorous situation, but really all you need is one. Like you just need to find one person. And there are tons of people, and I'm not a big believer in like one person on this earth for everybody. I think you could make it work. Of course, you find somebody and you fall in love. You're like, that's my soulmate, you know, but I do really just don't want this to be like, it's all bad out there. And we're going to say, you know, we will make generalizations that may not be your experience. And we understand that you can't generalize every person in a city. Like we're going to say some things and you guys will be like, well, that's not my experience. And, you know, we just want to be clear that there's no way to do that. You know, you can't say like all the people in the city are like this, because that's not true, but it really may be a common theme, and it really may be an experience that the majority of people have.
I think that most people are like, my city is the worst to date in. I mean, we get that so much when we go to every city. And I think just in general, the dating field has changed. The landscape of availability of options has just changed in every single city. And I think how respectful people are to you and the amount of ghosting that goes on just in general that's accepted, and hookup culture, casual sex culture has just led to everything sucking a little bit more. And I just think that like, we have to reframe this. It's because every person believes that their city is the worst city to date
not everybody.
in.
We'll get to it.
For like X reason, but like you have to be able to find ways to enjoy it. And I do think that like we have a lot of advice and insight into like, this is how to just maximize your opportunities, or potentially move to a new city to maximize your opportunities. And fish with the right pole.
Fish with the right pole. And just to reference some previous episodes, we love John Berger. He is an author and an analyst, I guess you could call him, that came on years ago. His first book was called Datanomics, and the second book was kind of a follow-up to Datanomics called Make Your Move, and he came on. It was an episode called Where Are All the Decent Men with author John Berger, January 2021. And we loved the book so much, but also he wrote it before the pandemic, and so COVID changed a lot of things too. Like, everything is different now with working virtually, and things are a lot different than they used to be in terms of like everybody in this industry lives in this city, or most people, like people are just working remotely. And so it's kind of changed those cities too. Like Austin is a completely different city now than it was in 2019, 2015. Oh my God, yes. Like it feels like LA light these days, like it has just changed drastically, which some people like, some people don't, but I use that as an example too. So some things from the book are dated just because they're dated.
Yeah. I also think that people aren't socializing the same ways they used to. I mean, you just don't have hundreds of people pouring out of every office building at 6 o'clock every day and going to bars and happy hours. And so I think just the landscape has changed in general. And I refuse to believe like it's all bad out there. There's just, you got to kind of like change your perspective.
Yeah. And the other episode where we mentioned this was in 2023 about freezing your eggs. And that was with Marcia Inhorn, who came to us through John. Right. We talked about some of the cities in that too, but the overarching theme is when there are more men and less women in a city, single, available, the women are treated generally better. The men want to commit more. Women are just more of a commodity. And that's kind of where that balance comes in. And then in populations where the women really outnumber the men, there is a general feeling that you may feel like guys think they're just going to find something better. You feel more disposable. A lot more of the bad behavior goes on in general. Like that is kind of how it shakes out. And that's what John's book is about. And that's what you really see. And, unfortunately, we're talking about heterosexual relationships when we talk about this in men and women, but men and women don't want to live in the same places a lot. You have a lot of women that want to be like, I want to live in New York or LA. And that's what they do. And then
the men go to Denver,
outnumber. And then the men are in Alaska. That's the theme that we just want to talk about. And that's why when we talked with John, and you'll read a lot of articles and whatnot, like San Francisco is a lot better for women, and Seattle, we'll get to it. We'll get to the debunking that you guys did when we asked you on Instagram. But there's more cities that really are more in favor of the women because there's more men.
Mm-hmm. We should go there. Well, not you anymore. You're like a year into your relationship.
Yeah. I don't know why. It really made me laugh.
We should go there.
I have a boyfriend. I'll go there. I'll wingman all day.
Someone emailed and they were like, this is for Rayna. How do you deal with being single? That's how the email started.
What?
It was like 3 sentences. It's embarrassing.
What? No, it's not embarrassing.
I'm just looking at our emails. One's old hairless pussy.
Yeah.
Okay. The email is question for Rayna. How do you deal with being single? Can we get a 2024 Single Girl Self-Love podcast? I feel like that's me every week.
Show?
That's me every week, and that's the last 5.5 years of the podcast.
I mean, I was a single icon for most of the show for 5 years. Don't do me like that.
Yeah, I've had boyfriends.
I remember.
This question is for Rayna. How do you deal with being single?
It was amazing.
We're pretty happy. My life is good.
My life is pretty great.
And my best friend's boyfriend lives across the country. So that's how I deal with it. So what spawned this conversation is this episode was your idea, but I love this so much, is that there was a study that came out by a company called Wallet Hub, and it was best and worst cities for singles 2024. You can look it up, and then a ton of news outlets picked this up. So it's in the New York Post, it's in Time Out, and what they did.
HuffPost, everybody picked it up. And they based it on a few different things. I also want to say this is singles. This is not necessarily women. So it really just said if you're single and ready to mingle, the city you live in could be helping or hurting your chances of finding love. This was the new study. Again, it's a personal finance company, and they measured 182 U.S. cities across 35 indicators of dating friendliness that falls into 3 main categories: economics, fun and recreation, and dating opportunities. So that would be the share of the population that's single. So they did use those metrics, but again, like you have to keep the gender balance in mind as well, which just says that they did keep that in mind. But some of this, we also asked you guys on Instagram. We got thousands and thousands of responses, and it all felt in line with what we've gathered over the years as well. You know, like a lot of cities just have a common theme, like across the board. So some of your answers really wouldn't align with this, but I'll read maybe the top 10 and you do the worst.
Yes.
Okay, so best cities for singles. They rank these. Some of you guys are going to listen and be like screaming
It's so funny.
at your device, but just this is not our study. Number 1 was Seattle, 2, Las Vegas, 3, Denver, 4, Atlanta, 5, Austin, 6, Reno, Nevada, 7, Tampa, 8, Madison, Wisconsin, 9, Tucson, Arizona, and 10, Portland, Oregon. And then after that, we have like Rapid City, South Dakota, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Juneau, San Diego, Minneapolis, Boise, Pittsburgh, Honolulu, and Portland, Maine. And those are the top 20.
But I'll tell you what is not even close to the top 100 is New York City.
New York is 144 out of 180 something I said. So low on the list. And LA is 29. So not terrible. So 29th best.
Yeah.
Or whatever, 150
it's not
worst.
140.
Yeah.
So the quote unquote worst cities for singles are just smaller places. Columbia, Maryland, Warwick, Rhode Island, Brownsville, Texas, Glendale, California, Pearl City, Hawaii, Dover, Delaware. Ashley?
I know. I couldn't believe it. I was like, Dover made a list. I kind of got excited.
We're just honored to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Jackson, Mississippi, Hialeah, Florida, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And then rounding that out is Yonkers, New York. So, I mean, just smaller places where there's a smaller population. There's less to do. There's less opportunities to meet people, obviously.
Well, we're going to share our audience responses and break those things down. But I mean, what do you think?
What do I think are the best and the worst?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I mean, I loved dating in New York. I did. I loved it so much. I liked the act of dating in New York. I thought it was just so accessible to like go to a bunch of places. It was really easy to meet people. If I was sitting at home by myself for a night, I could just walk to a local bar. Like I can't do that as much in LA. Like I'm not going to walk in the middle of the night by myself. So I thought dating was very accessible in New York. You could get to the date quicker and there was just an endless opportunity of things to do. And you and I have had so many fun dates in New York that are just all night long. You go to like 4 different locations. There's just so much to do there. So I love that. And I do think that there is a very high population of high functioning men there that make a lot of money, that are highly educated. Like it's the type of people, if you are an educated woman that's seeking out another educated man with a great job, the population of people doing that is pretty high. Unfortunately, per like John Berger's book, is that there's so many women in New York City that are also gorgeous and educated, doing cool stuff, and so you're just up against a lot. That's the issue with New York, is I feel like men, and this is my experience, maybe not everybody's, but they're a little non-committal because they don't have to be.
Yeah.
If you're a good-looking man in New York City and you make a couple bucks, you don't ever have to settle down.
Not even good looking.
Literally, the most average men. You don't have to settle down. Also, like, you don't have a biological clock, obviously. So, like, you don't have a finite amount of time to have children. It's just some of these cities that have, like, high-powered men with a lot of money that are average enough looking, they never have to commit.
And you really can have it be a playground forever. You know, you are not going to be feeling that pressure. You know, people stay single in New York forever.
Absolutely.
In their 50s, 60s, whatever, you know, you'd love to see it too. You know, I love to see women who have chosen that life for themselves and are thriving and, you know, per studies, living longer. We should talk about that sometime. You know, unmarried women, how they like live the longest, whatever. But like, you don't feel those pressures from your community and your friend group necessarily. I mean, of course you can. Again, these are not like hard set in stone rules, but like I think about Sparkle Eyes, and he lives, you know, right outside of Boston. He's not like right in the inner city in Southie with all his bros, but you know, his friends are settling down. I mean, he's in his like, you know, early mid 30s. Like he is one of the last ones to not have a partner, you know, so he's feeling that from his friend group.
So to that point, if you remove dating completely, I enjoyed being a single person in New York City more than I enjoy it in LA, because I just felt like there isn't this pressure to get married, to have children. Like if I moved back to Pittsburgh, all my friends are married with children. I would not enjoy being a single person there, because you're just sort of like this odd man out all the time. I never felt like the odd man out. In LA, I don't feel sad about being single here. There are definitely less opportunities to like go out here a little bit. But New York was my favorite place to be a single person if you remove the dating aspect.
Well, someone wrote it's the best and the worst, and I think that defines it completely. You know, I feel like low-key traumatized from dating in New York for 6 years, but I also had the most fun dates, you know, I have the most fun dates now with my partner, but when I was on the
Single girl
scene,
dates, yeah.
like the single girl dates and dates with strangers and running around going to new places. And I think LA, I think that I've gone on dates here, and so is Rayna, and just talking to all of our friends and hearing from our listeners, and you just get a lot more flakiness, you get more shallow people, and people just feel like there's like weirdos and people that are a little too woo-woo, and there's just all kinds of things, but it falls into a lot of different buckets. But I think people really feel that lack of commitment to the date, just a lot of flakiness.
Definitely. And I feel like the thing that I liked in New York a little bit more, people will say, I find this varied. Some people say in their cities, like, men don't approach you. I felt like in New York, men always approached me. Like, I was able to open up conversations with people more than I feel like here. We always joke that, like, it's not cool to, like, act like you're having fun outwardly in LA. And so I think it's a little less common that somebody would, like, walk up to you. But it does happen. I met a bunch of guys at OWA the other night in Venice. Like, they walked right up to us because there was a magician walking around the bar. But God. Maybe that is also, like, a good tip that, like, if you feel that you live in a city where men don't approach you, go to a place where there's sort of like a shared activity with people.
Yeah. Where you are teed up to have conversations.
Totally.
And then, the other main city I've dated in is Atlanta, and it's, changed since I lived there. I moved away at the very end of 2016, which was a great time to leave the South after Donald Trump won the presidency. But of course, in the South, you can feel that people don't necessarily share the same values. We've heard that a lot of like Texas and different places like Missouri, just all over, where you feel like people just have more conservative values if those aren't the values that you share. I just felt like in Atlanta, I didn't think it was so unbalanced. There are more women. I definitely feel that, more beautiful women. I think that's a general theme in the South. It's just like the women are stunning and the men are just not it. And you just see this like frumpy dude in khakis and a boat shoe and Croakies and like
with a 12 out of 10
pastel polo with the hottest woman you've ever seen. Like, I went to Clemson. I was like, I can't with the guys here. Like, I'm going athletes only. These guys are fucking ugly. But there's a Southern look, and I think Atlanta's different, the two, than like Atlanta's a cosmopolitan, progressive blue city, for the most part. And it's also a heavy Black population, of course, and race plays into that too. But I think you got to think about what you're looking for. Like, are you really wanting the guy that is hot, successful, former frat guy, kind of fuck boy, rolling around in the scene, probably doing some drugs here and there, and he's like exciting and hot and popular, but like that's probably not the guy that makes you feel secure and stable. And I think you got to think about what you want. We have a friend that really did years of that. She was always going after those guys, and she finally just was like, wait a minute, I'm just going after the wrong type of guy. And she found this like really incredible guy. He is a doctor. He is super kind. He wasn't in the scene like that, not white, which I can't recommend enough. And she just was like, went for a different type of dude. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's something you have to think about. I found that in that city too. Like, that's my ex, like, wasn't in that scene. Like, there's definitely like a party scene. There's people that it can feel really cliquey, and people all went to Georgia or this or that, and they were the fraternities and sororities. And it's like, you think you want to be a part of it. You might think you want like big man on campus, and that's not going to be the guy that you have a solid relationship with. I think that goes for a lot of different cities.
I think so too. And I think that you do have to sort of shop outside of the norm if you're gonna live in those cities. Like, I don't think that people move to New York and LA to find a partner. There's definitely cities that people are like, we will talk about, should you move to find a partner? Like, Austin and Denver are the cities you just hear time and time again. I moved there to find a partner. No one's going to New York and LA to find a serious relationship, and less people want relationships today than ever. Like, this study said that 57% of single adults aren't interested in a relationship or casual dating right now. And I don't know the age of the people that they surveyed, but less people in those cities are looking for it. And so like, you probably have to shop outside of the norm. So like you said, our friend found that doctor, like she isn't dating somebody that like is in the party scene. So I think if you're in those cities and you're like, this is such a party scene, you should find a way to shop outside of that scene.
Listen, the only person I ever heard about moving to New York for love was a fictional character. It was Jennifer Hudson in Sex and the City, the movie. And she said she moved to New York for love. And then what did she do? Got back with her ex from her hometown. So
I know slews of girls that moved to New York City with their partner, and their partner left them pretty much immediately.
That's dark. No, so, I'm not saying. Listen, here's the thing. I also want to talk about this. I also think it's important to address people of color, queer people, and their dating experiences as well. Because I read another article where it was like where are the best cities for Black people to date? Not that we don't support interracial relationships. Like I'm in one, but you know, we got some responses on when we did an Instagram, like I feel out of place here as a Black woman, or I feel like I'm not seeing a lot of people that look like me. I mean, that affects your dating experience as well. So like DC was a top city when it comes to that, Atlanta, Detroit, some cities like that. And then of course, when it comes to being someone who's not straight, where you're like, the best city in the world is going to be New York. You know, that is the most diverse. You're going to see everybody, every race, every gender, every sexual orientation. So I think that's important to remember too, that we're not just talking about like a homogenous group of people when it comes to dating. Cause like straight dating and queer dating is totally different thing in like different cities too, you know?
Yeah, I think that was really well said.
Yeah, I think you want to date in a city where you feel represented, whatever that means to you. So, you know, that experience may vary. And, you know, if you were somebody who is a queer person and you live in some super conservative town in the South or the Midwest or wherever, like I would assume you wouldn't feel like that's a good scene for you. And New York is going to be like a playground, or, you know, like San Francisco, or of course even Atlanta even. And the same goes for race as well. So the thing that I have really learned is I have learned such a lesson in like the type of guy I thought I was going to be with. I've said this before, but since we're talking about cities, like I just thought I had to be with somebody who lived in New York or LA. Like I just thought that would be the only person who would like match my energy and my lifestyle. And it just wasn't, it was so wrong. You know, like Rayna's just looking at me like, yeah, bitch, I know.
I knew you were wrong.
I know. Like I just say this again, cause I can't reiterate it enough, to be open to where someone lives and don't get in your own way.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about moving to the type of city that you should live in. And this article isn't the be all end all, but it's just a nice thought starter. And this woman is quoted in the article saying, if a city has a high population of singles and is packed with activities that you'll enjoy, then you'll have a better chance to meet someone. Sure. But I think you have to go after the type of singles that you want to be with. And I think that you have to go after the type of activities that you like. Everybody wants to move to Denver to find somebody. I would hate it. There is not one activity in Denver that I want to do. I don't bike. I don't ski. I don't camp. I'm not an outdoor girl.
Let's get into it, because the alternate title for this episode is The Truth About Denver. Rayna, it's in our responses. I mean, and this is the city that, listen, I have not lived there. I feel like I have a grasp on what women are dealing with there so deeply.
We have girlfriends
from
there. Yeah,
all
we get
of
it.
my friends that have moved there, from our listeners echoing the same sentiment. Like it really was this whole Menver, move to Denver. That's where all the guys are. But you really have to think about the type of guys. And now what we're hearing, and Jenny has found a great guy there. I have another friend who found a great guy there. Like that's not to say you can't find a great guy there. Jenny's relationship, I'm like obsessed with it. Jenny's also super outdoorsy. They want to be doing stuff all the time. Like if you were not a person who really wants to ski and hike and do all those things, I think you might feel like a little bit of an outsider there. Not saying you can't find somebody, but that is like the common theme. But we have heard in Denver, specifically post-COVID, from everyone, all the women, that it's really hard to nail a guy down. Guys don't want to commit. They are flaky and they just want someone to, you know,
an activity buddy,
but really not a girlfriend if that's what you're wanting to get into a relationship. And it is really the prevalent theme that we've heard about that. And especially post-COVID, I think people had a lot of luck there years ago, and it's really felt like it's changed. Like we got nothing but complaints about it. And we love the city. Listen, we love Denver. I don't want to be so discouraging, but it was this thing that people were moving there for. And overwhelmingly, the women have said that's not really the case.
Well, also maybe the pendulum swung. Like maybe people just like stormed Denver, got all the available men and exited. And now like it changed. People found out about Denver.
True. And like I'm looking at what else, like people said just not a lot of substance. You see everybody has the cliche dating app prompts, want a ski partner, but no commitment, Peter Pans, this kind of thing too. And I don't want to go so hard in Denver because like we've seen great relationships come out of there, and our great guy friend Brian lives there and he's such a wonderful, eligible guy. I don't know what his dating steps is at the moment.
He wants to ski and bike and hang out and not commit.
I think he wants a partner, but I think he wants someone that matches his lifestyle. And he's like top tier outdoorsy guy. He's like hiking, whatever. What's the highest mountain?
Kilimanjaro.
Shit like that.
Is that true? I think
Everest,
if you are the kind of like Jenny is the kind of person that she wants to go to a music festival every other day. She likes to go skiing. Like she will do all those things. I would have no luck in Denver. I'll tell you what, I could go to Austin and be married in 1 week.
Can we talk about Austin? Should we get into our city breakdown?
Yeah, let's talk about like city breakdown.
Okay, let's get into the cities. You guys are probably waiting for your cities.
Austin, I feel like I want to suck a dick every 3 steps. The men physically are my exact type. Everybody is so masculine.
Austin got good ratings. A lot of people said Austin is transient, which I do see.
Yeah.
People might be passing through, moving there for a tax break. You know, a lot of people in entertainment, a lot of people in comedy move there, and that might not be where they would stay. And a couple other things. People may hate on Austin, but guys will actually ask you to meet here instead of pen paling. And then someone wrote, Austin was a wet dream for me. I got to try all the different flavors until I found one I liked. Again, these are just a few people's experience, but the overall prevalent theme was like, you can make this work for you.
I also think tons of opportunities to meet people.
Yeah.
Like it is just an endless amount of like daytime drinking activities with music and barbecue and people in groups, and people will approach you, and I could get a boyfriend in Austin in a week.
Okay, Seattle, which was number 1 on the list. You guys hate it. You hate it. Seattle boys are all depressed. Seattle, not a lot of diversity. Nerds, all caps.
Well, okay. What I will say about Seattle is because I work for Amazon. It's the major hub of Amazon. So I think that it probably ranked really high because it is a lot of educated, high earning individuals with great long-term earning potential. And there is a great dining scene. Like on paper, Seattle fucks.
Well, and then I love that you said that, because another comment that I wrote down was generally the men and women not in tech, Amazon, Microsoft, are pretty great dates. Listen, no, like those are great jobs, but that's a good sentiment. If you don't want a tech bro, then don't find a tech bro. Like there are people in these cities that have a stereotypical occupation that don't have those occupations. You know what I mean? Like you can find guys in San Francisco that aren't tech bros. You can find guys in LA that aren't trying to be actors and models. You know, you can find guys in New York that aren't finance bros. Like these are the stereotypes, but you can find those guys. Like every single person on this list said Boston is short and my man is 6'3". Like you can find people who don't fit the stereotypes. No, we'll get into it, but it was just like short king, short king, short king, short king, short king.
There is something in the water in Boston.
People said a scientist needs to study it. But I do think, you know, again, like there's a reason why Seattle ranked high in that list. It was in John's book, and, you know, you can make it work for you, but I want to validate the people that are like, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. And I thought I would.
It seems on paper to me like a great place. Actually, my ex who lived in LA was from Seattle, and so I spent a lot of time there with him, and there's just a lot to do. Like it's a great dining scene. People are educated and they should be fun. And it's just dark, so they're a little depressed. It gets dark at like 3 o'clock sometimes.
I know. I'm going to throw a couple wild cards out, Rayna.
Hit me.
Dating in Santa Fe as a 22-year-old woman is incredible. Options galore, and nobody knows about it.
Well, they do now.
Someone else also wrote, I hate dating in Santa Fe. But for every good one, there was also a bad one. And I want to throw another positive one out there. Park City. A lot of very fun and attractive men, but not many people are here to stay. And when we talk about Park City and we talk about some cities in like Wyoming, it's where a lot of like rich, young entrepreneurial people are going for tax havens also. But Park City, what's like, that's all the rich people, right?
That is the rich people. Yeah.
So that's what you're looking for.
Is Sundance in Park City or is Sundance in Sundance? Is Sundance a place?
That's a festival.
Yeah, but sometimes they name it after the place. Tessa.
It's in Park City.
Okay, great. I knew it.
That's a place where you can go snag yourself someone with money, but I also understand how that can be transient too. But we've heard that over and over. Like, ladies, you got to get your ass to Park City.
You know what we've heard in every single city without fail is if there's like a major sports team, that will be somebody's entire personality. That is just across the board. Listen, you just got to let them. You just got to let them that can be their personality some of the time.
Like that's heavy in Boston and Philly. I don't think we like hear that out of San Francisco, but like we hear Boston, Philly, you know, the Eagles are your whole personality. You wear jerseys out in the town.
Pittsburgh's like that.
Pittsburgh
sports teams in general are your entire personality and wardrobe. You're just wearing puffy jackets, Penguins puffy jackets. That's everybody's wardrobe, and you got to let them.
To an extent. I'm not having somebody that has an obsession that controls their whole life.
Sure.
I'm not doing it.
Totally.
The Eagles lost, we can't fuck?
That's crazy. People in Pittsburgh are like that, though.
I'm sad, too. The season's over.
Yeah, but my pussy is ready to take some.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh, like, if the Steelers lose, like, people act like they lost a family member.
Yeah.
Like a regular season game.
Yeah, and that's a lot. What happened to the Eagles this year is like, someone needs to study it. 10-1 to being the worst team.
I don't understand.
losing a wild card game by like a record loss. Like I can't, whatever. Portland. Listen, Portland is weird in the best way, and we love it. But you guys agreed. We got a lot of polyamory,
a lot of ethical non-monogamy. That's a huge thing in Portland.
People say they don't have jobs. We've been hearing that since day one about Portland. And this is kind of dismal, but where intelligent, beautiful, single women go to die alone.
I don't think, unlike, it's kind of the opposite. Seattle is known for people that like work at Amazon and like are highly educated in tech. Maybe if you're seeking out somebody who's like highly educated that has some like corporate job, Portland is not a hub for that. And I think that people there are super smart. And if you want to date somebody that works for Nike, go to Portland. But
yeah, and if you're just, a little crunchier.
It's a little crunchier.
Yeah, like we love the progressive agenda. We love all of it.
If you want to compost.
Love that. Okay, can we talk about DC?
Please. DC is so funny because I have like such a clear picture of my exes from DC.
So DC was it Marsha's book? Marsha Inhorn, it was like rough for women.
Which is so interesting to me because again, it's similar to Seattle in the sense that like you have a very specific type of person there, and I would go there if I was looking for that type of person. Highly educated, in politics. That's really their whole personality.
Well, I think the women outnumber the men strongly in DC. People just really feel like it's the political type, super opportunistic. What we heard when we would do shows there was the first question that everyone asks you is, what do you do for work? So you really get that. But at the same time, like I said, there is like one of the larger Black populations. Someone wrote, I met my boyfriend in DC, lots of international people. Someone wrote, everyone is smart and attractive, lots of young people starting out their profession. And then someone ended it with, DC is unparalleled worst, last minute date cancellations because of national news. But again, there's people in DC that don't work in politics.
Yeah, my ex is a lawyer.
Not a political one. Like,
Not
you know what I mean?
a little bit.
It has this rep of just all these people that want to be on Capitol Hill. And it's just, that's not necessarily everybody, but also if that's what you want, that's great too.
So like a lot of people said, like the first question is, what do you do for work? And to tag onto that, like everybody's sort of thinking like, what can you do for me? What can I get out of you? Which is exactly what LA is like. But then just don't shop in that population.
Okay, we have Baltimore, more like small-to-more. Everyone knows each other or went to school together. Someone wrote, try dating in Arkansas, eye roll emoji. Someone said, you're lucky if you have a city. Us small-town girls have slim pickings. Let's go to Canada. Winnipeg, shockingly good. Halifax, shockingly bad. It's way too incestuous. Someone said there is decent variety in the North Carolina Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. Charlotte, you're going to have a lack of diversity in Charlotte.
Sure, but unlike like a New York City, a city like Charlotte is where people go to like settle down. You know? Like I think that you find a larger population of people that would like a long-term partner.
You just got to go there younger.
You got to really like men in khakis.
You got to love a khaki. Here's going to be one of our under the radar tips. New Fulton, Minnesota is great if you like farmers and hunters, 1 to 4 women to men ratio. I think there's going to be a surge of moving to New Fulton, Minnesota.
Wait, 1 to 4 women. There's 4 men for every 1 woman.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Farmers and hunters.
I bet you they're sexy.
They're hunting. All right.
Oh, I would. You got to hunt me.
And if you want a sexy Latino man, Orlando is where it's at. I'll do a little bit more Canada, Toronto. Toronto was mixed, but I think in general, it's a kind of a New York. It's kind of obviously the New York City of Canada, young feeling city, interesting people from everywhere, and tons to do for dates.
Toronto is one of the cities I will say that we ask how's dating here and it doesn't erupt with booing.
Vancouver, men are flaky, finance bros, too outdoorsy, or they're scrubs, but people also wrote it's a fun city to date, lots of activities and diversity. I'm obsessed with Vancouver, and it's so diverse. Like everybody looks like so attractive and so hot and so fun. And then someone else said, Vancouver, can I just say the Colin incident? Which if you were at our show, you know. Boise, we heard it was great. Lots of new men in town, outdoorsy mountain men and nerdy engineers. If you're into that, upstate New York for wholesome, really nice guys. I did read an article about Buffalo being a real hot spot for singles.
Well, it is a cold spot for weather.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do there besides have sex. You gotta warm up.
Stay warm. Exactly. Miami, they're obsessed with themselves. Yeah. What'd you think? You moved to Miami.
To be demure.
It's like everyone is
shy.
really into their image. Like we love Miami, and Miami is going to be very diverse. It's going to be the most diverse place in Florida. But people said it feels like there's always a better, hotter girl, and men know that. I mean, Miami is its own animal.
Are you reading LA?
Miami's just, yeah, that too in LA. If you know, you know. And we love it. It's like a second home to us.
Yes.
But we've definitely heard of the woes of dating in Miami.
Yeah. I mean, again, not necessarily a place people are moving to settle down.
Top Peter Pan city, Charleston. Yep.
Yes. Which is an outlier because in the South, I do think people move towards the South for more traditional values. Charleston, I think there's so many women in Charleston. And then there's the College of Charleston, and there's so many beautiful women, and I think men just never have to settle down. We hear a lot of Peter Pan syndrome in
San Diego?
San Diego. Oh, San Diego was a big Peter Pan
San Diego, we get it
one.
a lot. But I heard some decent things about San Diego. San Diego is a lot of men. So I don't know the exact stats and the ratio on this, but there are a lot of guys there, but a lot of people say it just feels like it's kind of that surfer guy not trying to settle down.
Yeah.
But I think, again, these cities can be like fun when you're young to date.
The best.
And, maybe find somebody.
I love New York.
Delaware as a whole is awful. Listen, Dover was on that list for being some of the worst, but then you look at Lindsay and Buck, and I feel like Lindsay was in a place in her life where, this is my cousin Lindsay and her husband Buck, where she was like, oh, am I ever going to find anybody? And then Buck walked in, and they're really one of our absolute favorite couples, and that really does drive home the like all you need is one type of person, and they can be in this like small town.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's fair to like pick on smaller towns either. It's just like it's not a large enough sample set. Like it's always going to be a little bit worse in a smaller town, you know?
Boston, again, was beyond. All short Southie bros, 30-year-old frat bros living in Southie wearing jerseys to bars. The men in Boston are so short, it should be studied by scientists. Boston is rough. Why don't you brag about it, Ashley? People just said Ashley found a rare gem. Like, it was overwhelming.
Well, I loved when we went there and we did this and Tom Brady still played for them. And it was just like dozens of Tom Brady responses. And it said, if you say Tom Brady, they'll instantly come. Like that is a city where like the Patriots were their whole personality.
Yeah. But it's a very specific type of guy. And I have talked to Sparkle Eyes about this. Like he is not that type of guy. He's not this like short bro in Southie. He doesn't own a jersey, like he is just different. And I have to say that he does have a tall, good-looking single friend. And I just feel like I don't want to like gatekeep this guy. So we are going to do a show in Boston this year. Spoiler alert. And he'll be there.
What if I like him?
Well,
I'm going to have a boyfriend by then. Don't worry about it.
He has been trying to hook him up with you. You get first dibs.
Listen, I brought this on me because Sparkle said, how do you feel about coming to Boston to
meet this guy?
And I said, I don't feel good about it. So it's not that I don't love Boston. I'm not trying to go places that are super cold in December.
So listen, Rayna has not met him yet, but he is her sloppy seconds. So you will be getting that. No, I'm just kidding. But that's kind of like the thing of like, it doesn't have to go into these stereotypes. And Austin, of course, we talked about, but when it comes to like Houston and Dallas, people just kind of echoed, if you are like a liberal, progressive woman, you can't always find someone, people are a lot more like religious there. People said like, that's been tough for them.
I mean, the South in general, certain pockets of the South, people definitely echoed like, I'm not religious and everybody else here is. And so maybe you got to go.
Anchorage, Alaska, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. Spokane, someone said it's honestly great. People are nice, clear intent, and yeah, it's a smaller pool, but nicer to manage, which she called that like a second city. Like it's not the biggest city in Washington State. It's just like a smaller city. It's nice. Our good friends live there and we like Spokane. So yeah, those were kind of the main highlights of the responses that we crowdsourced on Instagram. And I wanted to end it with by far the best city that you guys said to date. And this is what I have always said. So I feel so validated, which is Chicago.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about it.
I mean, it just makes sense. It's people that are cool and fun and like activities and not the Denver activities. No offense, you guys, I'll never do any of those. People are educated. They'll come up to you. They'll talk to you. It's like a really social town. And it's like the perfect mix of like New York people are going there to have fun, but like it is totally normal and natural to settle down.
It really is. Like I'm kidding and that nobody's talking about this. I think people are, but like it's not at the top of these lists. Like
I don't get it.
I've said this since day one. This is why I say that like if there was anywhere else I would have preferred to live in my 20s, it would have been Chicago.
So age-wise, I do think that like people do tend to leave Chicago at
or
the
move
age
to
of,
the
like,
suburbs.
30.
Yeah.
So like maybe my brother said to me like when he was 30, he was like, I don't need friends left here.
That is fair.
So age-wise,
like, I don't know that like 32-year-old woman, 35, that's where you want to go. I don't know. But I do think it's like this younger, fun. Someone wrote Chicago is the best. Midwesterners are just better, nicer people. Everyone shares a common love for the city. Love dating in Chicago. It was so easy to get everywhere. And the Midwest gentlemen are like, the carrot sign's the best. Someone wrote everyone is taken, which that I'm sure like maybe once you get a certain age. But we really feel like that. Everyone feels really just down to earth and nice. I love the thing about the common love for the city. There's so much to do. Again, it's fucking cold as shit in the winter. I swear if it wasn't so cold in the winter, Chicago would just be overpopulated because it's such a wonderful city. It's easier to navigate like than New York. It's not as tough of a life. It's not so challenging. It's not as expensive. You can have a nicer place.
And it's not weird to settle down. Like, like I feel like in New York and LA, at a certain age, your friends are making fun of you for settling down, men. But like in Chicago, I just think that like it's pretty normal and common. You're dating to find a partner.
That's the vibe.
I mean, listen, you guys can let us know if we're wrong, but that's been my vibe. And I've dated in Chicago a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that was the overwhelming responses. And even when like we go there, that's the vibe. It just, people are like, yeah, I found somebody, you know, like I've always said that. And so our findings are really that if we're talking big cities, Chicago is the top, Austin is a nice pick. I feel like Denver still works if you really are like in that outdoorsy world. And then, I mean, I think you can just make anywhere work for you, but this is just stuff to consider. And there's books on it and all kinds of things.
Totally. I think you can profile a city and say, does this work for me? I think, you know, at the end of this episode, you know, the idea is like, all right, what am I supposed to do? You have two options because everybody says dating in my city is the worst in the world.
I want to say that too. We're hearing from people who want to vet. You know, like I think when we ask this slide, people interpret it as like, tell me the worst city and tell me why. Even though we said tell us the best and worst, I don't think a lot of people who in relationships are like, I love the city. This is where I found my partner. You know, I think we are hearing kind of the darker side of it.
Totally. But like at the end of this, if you're just like, well, what are the options? It's like, you can stay where you are and you can change what you're doing. And I know people are like, oh, change what I'm doing. Why didn't I think of that? Amazing. What's great input. And I do want to talk about it. Or you move. You profile these cities for yourself and say to yourself, this seems like a place where people do X thing. So if you live in the South and you're like, I am an atheist, I'm surrounded by evangelical Christians, I'm never going to find somebody, you're probably right. I don't know. So we posed this question on Instagram, should you move to a different city to have better dating opportunities for yourself? And I think, especially if you want to be a parent, finding a partner is the most important decision you will ever make in your life. Who you choose to have children with is the only decision in your life you cannot reverse, you know? And I think that we move for jobs and we move for social opportunities. And so why would you not move for a partner? And I support it so much. And I've had so many friends over the years from New York City specifically saying like, I have tried so hard here and nobody will settle down. And I think that like they've heard enough from enough people, like just change your strategy, just do something different. And like these women are like, I am smart and I've tried every strategy. And so like maybe the last card you have to play is moving. And so many people said like, I love the city. I don't want to move. This is where my friend group is. This is where my family is. This is the easiest thing to say and the hardest thing to do. Like to say I'm 38 and I'd like to have children. I don't live in a city where people seem to want to do that. Like just move is not easy either. But I just want to like go on the record as saying I really support it if you feel like this is the goal and this is the action plan.
I mean, I really appreciate that people were vulnerable in the responses and said, this is something that I've considered. And even like, I feel silly for thinking this way because you were moving for nobody, technically. You're not moving to be with somebody. You're moving for the prospect of maybe finding somebody. So I understand not moving to a brand new place that you have no tie to just to date. Like you're not going to want to date. You're going to be sad. You're going to be missing your friends and family. Also, if you want to do something like that and take that leap, I find that really admirable as well. But to consider this, I don't think that there's anything wrong. You know, like if you have an opportunity, if there's a place you've been wanting to go anyway, you know, like, and you just think you might have better dating opportunities, like it's not silly to think this way. I really don't think that it is. And I go back to our episode with Alyssa and her just saying she changed her energy and then she found this partner and she moved to LA and found someone who was not LA at all. You know, he is not in entertainment. He doesn't even have social media. So it wasn't that she moved to this place and then met this very specific type of guy to the place. She just shifted her energy, felt like a newness about herself and a motivation to put herself out there. And like, that's what did it. And maybe that's what did it for me too. You know, like I don't know if I would be with my partner now if I didn't move, which is crazy because I moved all the way across the country from where he lives, but something about it shifted in me. I felt a new motivation in myself to date and excitement. And then I ended up with him. So moving in general can open a lot of doors for you in all areas of your life.
I mean, I can only speak to living in New York. I lived there for 15 years. I think if you are prone to anxiety and stress and bad moods and low, like feeling a little depressed, New York will exacerbate every one of those things. And I think that you can start to feel like I'm not the best version of myself in this city. So could I relocate and be a better version of myself? Not like I like that you said you're relocating for no one, because like you could relocate because you want the dating scene to be better. But I like the notion of like, I like this version of myself better in this city.
Yeah. I mean, and that even goes to like someone wrote, but again, this is the question slide on Instagram. Someone wrote, all the gays who haven't found a partner have considered it because I live in a smaller dating pool. You know, like even just people who might be more your vibration. Someone wrote, I just moved to Austin, not for dating, but definitely a perk I considered, which I like that too. You know, like that's just a additional motivation for moving to a city. Someone said, I have many friends who've done this and met their husbands soon after moving. Someone said, absolutely. I think about it a lot. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. And of course we have people being like, no, I think it's the same circus, but different clowns.
That's hysterical. Oh, that's the title of the episode.
As long as you're not judging people, like I like the variation in responses.
Yes.
You know?
I also think that moving changes you in the sense that like it reignites your flame a little bit, where you're just like, it's almost like dating when you're on vacation. The stakes are lower. Like,
oh my God, when I moved to New York, I was just like, I am out here.
Yes. So it's more exciting. And, you know, I know that everybody doesn't have this opportunity, but so many people are remote today. And so I don't know. Airbnb your own apartment and get an Airbnb in Austin and check it out for a month.
That's a great call too. And I also want to just really validate that not everybody has the resources and the money to just pick up and move. Like, again, there's a world in which you have enough and you know, rent your place and it doesn't cost you much. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't have a ton of shit. You know, I didn't have a ton of shit when I was like younger, in my 20s. Like, I like that idea too. Like, if you can make this work for you financially, not everybody can. Not everybody can leave their job. Some people are still working in an office every day. They have a good situation. They're like, I can't leave this. But if you have the opportunity and you really are feeling stuck and there's a place you want to go, you can do it temporarily.
I mean, I feel for people that really want children and the clock is ticking and they're just like, I really don't think I'm going to find this here. And I really support somebody trying something else, because you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, I really feel for women that, you know, the clock is ticking.
Yeah. I really think a lot of it is reframing that I'm like not moving to the city for these imaginary guys. I am moving for myself to change something within myself and explore something different and really try to change my outlook. And there are really so many positive experiences here. Like I moved to New York in 2011, met a guy, fell in love, 6 years together. Yes, not on purpose, but ended up dating different types of people then from home. And I fell in love and got married. I had to move for a job, but I was excited about it because of the dating. I was single 8 years. I met my boyfriend in the first 3 months after moving.
I hear that all the time.
That is, that like gives me chills, you know. Someone says I would never leave my friend group without a guarantee. And I feel that too.
I wouldn't.
If you have a solid friend group, like you have one of the real good ones, you know, like they feel like family, you do stuff together every weekend. I mean, leaving that, it would be tough. But maybe you grab a friend, you go together.
Get your single friend and move with you. Yeah. I would have a really hard time leaving my community. I felt like in New York, like I worked so hard to build this. It took so long to find a core group of friends in the city. It would be really hard for me to just kick that in the teeth. But I mean, if you can temporarily try it out, there's nothing about this that seems silly to me at all. I think that is taking yourself seriously to consider something like this.
Yeah. And you can always go back.
Yep.
People say that whenever you move, you can always go back. I don't know, unless you just burned every bridge in town, why you wouldn't be able to go back. But there's responses that said I did this and didn't find anybody, and that could happen too. You know, there are really no guarantees in life for anything, but we're not telling you to pick up and move, but we're also telling you don't be ashamed if that is something you're considering.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like, I love this city and my friend group more than anything in the world. And if you're like, I'm hell-bent on staying in this city, then you have to change your strategy. Like if you live in New York City and you're just like, I can't find anybody, then instead of dating men that live in Manhattan, date somebody that lives in Hoboken or Brooklyn. They have purposely chosen to live outside the scene. So look for people like that. Like you can set your profiles, Hinge or whatever, to people that live a little farther out of the city. Like I maybe wouldn't date somebody in their 20s that lived in the East Village. There's a reason why they live there.
I know, that's the thing. I gotta like hammer this home. Like I never thought I would be with somebody who didn't live in like the top 2-3 cities in America in terms of, you know what I'm saying? Like population and industry and that. And then on top of it, not live in the center of the city. Like I was just wrong. Like I think so many New Yorkers are like, oh, Hoboken, bleh. And it's like, I don't know, maybe that's the kind of guy you might want. Like I used to hear like, if you're on the older end, you got to get those Westchester divorced dads.
Yeah, you got to just change your circumference of where you're dating. Somebody that chooses to live in, listen, I'm not dating in Westchester, but Hoboken or not Williamsburg, but like somebody that chooses to live in like Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn, like that's somebody that's like a little more outside of the scene. They don't want to be in Manhattan partying every day. Date those people.
Yeah.
Date in Hoboken.
Jersey City. That can be kind of family, but I did see one for Jersey City. Yeah. And I just think if you're not wanting to move, you know, just get outside your comfort zone in some way, you know, like, of course, we always say take a trip. I mean, I met my boyfriend on our travels, you know, like I didn't move to Boston. Like, you know, of course, like it goes out saying we get to travel for work and for a living and not everybody has the money and the resources to just up and take a trip or whatever it is. But changing your scenery even temporarily just for, you know, a week or two can work wonders too.
You just date so differently when you're like, I don't know if this is permanent. Like I really love the idea of just renting out your place for a month and you take that exact dollar amount and get an Airbnb in a different city and just fuck around and find out for a month.
And if you really want to go full send, get out of the country.
We're going international.
Let's go London.
Where we're going?
Let's go Australia.
London.
You got to get your visa shit figured out. I don't know how about all that works, but like I love that shit too. Paris.
Yeah, you date.
Go full Emily in Paris.
You just date different.
Yeah.
I don't understand that reference. I've never seen that show.
Oh, I can't wait for the next season. We got good things about Australia. We've heard mixed reviews, but some said like I actually love dating in Sydney and the guys like will approach you in the wild and set a second date while you're on the first date. We got some good things about Sydney, but we've also heard the opposite. So, you know, who's to say? The Bogans.
The Bogans. I really encourage people to like profile these cities as much as you can. Like, I think that if you're not a big drinker, there are certain cities I just wouldn't date in. I think that if you're like, the most important thing to me is going to music festivals. There are certain cities I wouldn't date in. Like, I think that like we talked about writing a list last week and like, it's the perfect exercise of like, what is important to me? And then what cities emulate those qualities and go find them.
Yeah. Especially if your values are so different than what the prevalent value is in that place, you know, and that's when we do talk about, you know, conservative versus progressive and things like that. Because again, there's a chance you could find a needle in a haystack, but why not set yourself up where the odds are better for what you're looking for?
There's more needles.
Yeah, there's more needles in that haystack. Right, exactly. Like you're obviously going to have better chances of finding the needle if there's 50 needles versus just one in that haystack. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
Best of luck out there. We know it's rough out there and there's no perfect place. And even the ones that sound like dog shit, you can still find a decent relationship. We see it all the time.
Yes.
So don't lose hope.
Yeah, I think so too. The people that submit to this, like you said, my mom always says, the people that are happy aren't emailing you.
There it is. There it is. Okay, girlsgottaeat.com, of course. Girls Gotta Eat podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And Vibes Only. Get that new Rayna and all the new toys we have coming up for Valentine's Day. And Vibes Only on Instagram. Our personals, I am Ash Hess. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. Subscribe on YouTube. Watch these episodes on YouTube. They're just getting like better and better. And share this episode with a friend. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.